I recently did a poll on Patreon for my patrons to see what type of video they would like for me to do. I gave them a few options from things that I thought that they would like. For instance, some expensive knives being tested and eventually broken. But I also gave some options for bicycles. And the option that my patrons chose in number was for me to purchase, review, and then give away a mountain bike. That's what we are getting started today. Hello, welcome to the Prepper's Bunker Outdoors. I am Jacob, your host. This channel is made possible through sales at my website, beachandtactical.com, where I hand make, using only American-made mil-spec components, rifle slings, gear slings, and other accessories. Also, I have a knife brand, Exodus Knife and Tool. Our knives are made by White River Knife and Tool in Fremont, Michigan, using only the finest materials available. The designs are practical, simple, and versatile. We have affiliate links in the description box below. I do have a Patreon, and also February's sponsor for February of 23 is Warriors Collection, a veteran-owned business selling apparel, coffee, tea, but really a business that is focusing on donating to and helping veterans and veteran organizations. Please check those out. They'll all be in the description box below, and let's get you right back to the content. Now, this is far different than my normal content. However, the idea here and the idea for this entire year is rechilding. This is a prepping channel. However, I feel that if I could encourage preppers to get outside and get their bodies moving and to get healthier, that money could be far better spent from a prepping perspective than money spent on more bling, more gear, more survival stuff. So I know, being a 90s kid myself, that a lot of us grew up on BMX bikes. And then as we got older, when you got a car or whatever, you never rode again. And everybody talks about, I can't do the things that I used to do. You know, kids can go out and run all day, every day, and they're fine. We just can't do that, whatever. Well, if you work in an office and you work a regular job and you never go out and run, you never get your heart pumping, you shouldn't expect to be able to do those things. You have to go out and do those things to be able to continue to do those things. And the number one way to do that is to do something you enjoy. It's not to buy testosterone. It's not to pay for a workout plan. A lot of these things can help in the short term, but in the long term, it has to be a lifestyle or you'll always revert back. So what I was looking at when I was picking a bike for an adult to try and get back into things is something that they could maybe ride with their children, maybe something they could ride with their friends, something that was going to be fun, that would get them into shape, that would be very affordable in case they don't actually enjoy this. And what we came up with was this Cruise CB275. Here's the tools that we're using really quick. Just a simple Craftsman ratchet and socket set. Hopefully Allen key set. A crescent wrench, because I'm probably going to be lazy and not want to get a bunch of wrenches. Hopefully I don't hardly need any. And of course, to open it all up, etc. The Exodus Knife and Tool Adventure Craft. So you've been watching me assemble this bike, and I got injured in the process. It's pretty embarrassing. So part of the cost, we're trying to keep things affordable, and I wanted to talk about assembling your own bikes. I always assemble my own bikes. I did something really stupid here. I was adjusting one of the calipers to get it absolutely perfect while spinning the wheel. I got my finger sucked into the disc brake. It took an ice cream scoop right out of the middle of my fingernail. It was a bad deal. I tell you what, it would have been worth it for me to pay someone to assemble this bike for me just for that not to have happened, just in the money that it cost me in productivity after this happened. It was a little bit gnarly. You can do this on your own, But if you take it to a bike shop, they can true all of your spokes, which I'm not at a point to do yet. They can make sure everything's right. And if you haven't been into this for a really long time, it might be a good idea. Now, I've already got another bike in that I will be assembling by myself. I have not learned my lesson. I will continue to assemble bikes for myself. So that is just a little extra bonus piece there when you're deciding whether or not you want to invest in having a professional put your stuff together or whether or not you want to do it yourself. So this is basically a first impressions video. This is just a quick review. I've done a bit of riding on the bike. I will do a lot more for the next review and stuff like that. But we've got a bike that's $380 from City Grounds, 6061 aluminum frame, full chromoly fork, full chromoly cranks, sealed rear hub, sealed crank, sealed headset, unsealed front bearings for the front hub. So what you've got here is you've got the most simple, most affordable entry into getting into riding a bike, mostly in an urban environment for an adult. We're going to be testing this thing for urban environments, for regular use and for fun use, for trails, for regular use and for fun use, for families pulling a cart, regular use and fun use. We've only got one gear here. I think that's actually a good thing for getting your butt into shape. It'll force you to work a little bit harder instead of being lazy. I have another bike to review that is geared. I have my old mountain bike that I'll be showing here soon, but the idea was, if you're just getting into this, this is as simple as it gets. The bones should be good enough quality to hold together, and you might have to replace some small parts that wear out or break over time, but that should be at a small cost, and they should be easy things to change that you can do for yourself. There are already some things that I will be upgrading and redoing. We'll talk about that now. So the mechanical disc brakes, I think that they're fine, especially if you're just getting into this. If you're more used to nicer brakes, they'll feel vastly underpowered, but I think if they're well adjusted, that they will be fine for beginner use and for most people. But little things, guys, your adjustment barrels on here, one of these things out of the box, I think was broken. It doesn't even spin right. Yeah, it's not even like right in the threads there. Super cheap. Paint. We had some slight issues on the frame right out of the box, but just from transport and stuff like that, we've got paint getting jacked up, mostly on the forks and cranks. I think the frame is a little bit better. I think that is from transportation or whatever else, but before I give this bike away, I think I'll have to paint those things to make them a little bit nicer. I think it's most likely, I think the gooseneck will have to be replaced to hold these bars a little bit better, and if we smoke the knurling on the bars, we might need new bars as well. Here's something that I experienced quite a bit that will need to be updated on this. I've experienced this quite a bit my whole life. I'm going up this hill here, just got done filming, pedaling hard, really putting power down into the pedals, and pulled the drive side of the wheel forward. Chain is now useless. Tire is stuck up against whatever, the rear wishbone. I don't remember the term for it, I don't care. And so will not spin. So chain tensioners are going to be an item that I'm going to have to purchase for this bike due to the design. That's just the way it is, but another thing to consider. And that'll ruin your day. This, even on the trail, even if you've got the tools for it, this can get really irritating, and the more that you mess it up, the easier it happens. So there is that. So this was just meant to really be the introduction to a mini series, guys. I think that the bike overall is a lot of fun. I think that it is a fantastic value. I think it's a really easy way to get into this. I'm typically advertising buy USA, buy USA, buy USA. I will be doing a bike check on my American made, and almost a ton of the parts are American made bike here shortly. However, what I don't want to do is to encourage you to spend $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on a bike that you use to hang your clothes on until you sell it to a friend for $1,000 4 years down the road. What I want to encourage you to do is to have fun and get out and use something, actually get your foot into the door. I'm thinking of this as a gateway drug, essentially. I'm hoping that if you purchase something like this, if I can encourage you, if you grew up bicycling and are considering getting back into it, if I could encourage you to get something like this, maybe you'd enjoy it, maybe you'd grow out of it and then decide to spend more money on something a little bit nicer. But if you decide that it's not for you, you don't go out and ride like you should, not much money lost. Even if you leave it in the garage and you don't resell it, not too much money lost, and you can get back into bicycling in a couple years, brush this thing off, put new inner tubes on it, and jump right back on it. But the maintenance is going to be incredibly simple. The parts are incredibly simple. Repairing and replacing parts is going to be incredibly simple. You got a single gear, you've got no suspension, but the 27.5 mid-fat tires are going to give you a little bit of suspension and flex for the trails. I myself got started on dirt jumper with 26-inch tires running 50 or 60 PSI in them, and my first ride with other people up at Mammoth Cave was through gravel trails, and the tires were just digging through the gravel the entire time. We did like 16 miles with my single gear, and I'll tell you, it was a nightmare. So a simple bike like that dirt jumper, but with bigger, more balloony tires like this, is going to still be a more urban biased ride. However, if you want to go out and do those trails, it should be able to do that as well. That's what we're going to look at. And we're going to see if we can break this thing, guys. I plan on doing some big drops. I'm not a really skilled rider, but I plan on doing some big drops, putting some abuse on it. I run between 200 and 220 pounds. So if I do a 6 or 8 foot low speed drop, land on this thing hard, most likely it's going to put a lot more force on this bike than you might as a new rider. So that's the direction that we're going. We're going to be documenting the experience here. I hope that you guys enjoy it. I hope that my patrons feel like I do this justice. We'll just have to see. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. I'm pretty excited about this, and like I said, we'll be doing a bike check on a actual mountain bike that's mostly American made, and I also have a less affordable BMX bike right now, came in today, that has gears on it. So we can also show kind of a step up from this. That is the SE Killer Quad. So that will be coming as well. Guys, if you don't like the bike content, I will advertise these videos honestly. Thumbnails, titles, I'm not going to try and trick you into watching bicycle videos. I simply want to encourage you to get outside, get moving, work on your heart and your lungs. I like lifting weights. That's what I like to do. But I will tell you right now that my heart and lungs are not as strong as they should be, because I need to be doing more of this. So, there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a blessed day. I'll talk to you in the comment section below.